AJ Styles, and you're watching Bretto.
This is episode 300 of the WWE action figure week in review setup. I started this series 300 episodes ago. It's absolutely insane. I never even thought I would ever freaking get to 300 episodes of this series. Yes, it's the week in review setup where we talk about Raw, we talk about Smackdown in a WWE action figure setup style. Can't believe we're at 300 episodes. I want to thank each and every one of you. If you guys have ever even watched one week in review setup, I thank you so much for tuning into these. They're fun to make. It might not be the most popular series of all time, but it's a fun one to make. I like giving my opinion on both Raw and Smackdown, telling you guys what happened if you missed the show. So without further ado, we are going to run it up once again. We got Monday Night Raw set up right here from the UK in London, the O2. So we're going to start off with Monday Night Raw, and then we're going to talk about Smackdown in Chicago, Illinois, debut of Rey Fenix. So stay tuned for that. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw, episode 300 of the week in review. Let's do it, man. 300, bro. What? Starting off first with, once again, John Cena and Cody Rhodes opening up Monday Night Raw overseas. John Cena would make his entrance with a really awesome t-shirt that I already own. He'd get immediately interrupted by Cody Rhodes. John Cena didn't even say a word. Cody Rhodes at one point even calling John Cena a piece of crap. I'm like, oh my goodness, Cody Rhodes jabbing. It would eventually lead to John Cena saying, Cody Rhodes, I'm gonna bury you. I'm gonna bury mediocrity at WrestleMania, and you're the mediocrity. I'm like, oh my god, Cody Rhodes heard enough. John Cena went for a cheap shot. Cody Rhodes would turn it into a crossroads. This was kind of a sloppy crossroads, no doubt about that. But he still hit a crossroads on John Cena, and it felt good to see Cody get a little revenge, especially after that beatdown at the Elimination Chamber. This has got me even more and more excited for the WrestleMania match. Who's gonna win? The New Day, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston went up against Pete Dunne and the returning Tyler Bate. New Catch Republic is back once again. That's a tag team I never thought they were really gonna revamp, but they have. Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate back together. Great matchup here in the UK against the New Day, but the New Day were able to pick up the victory. Kofi Kingston off the top rope, little double team maneuver on Pete Dunne, pinning Pete Dunne 1, 2, 3. Great showing here from the New Catch Republic. I don't know how the tag team reunion's gonna go for them. I mean, reuniting here, taking your first loss against this garbage New Day. I mean, I don't know if that's the best look for the New Catch Republic. Anyways, after the match, the Viking Raiders are gonna come out and kind of go face to face with the New Day, because obviously they're the WWE Tag Team Champions, and yeah, I also forgot too. New Day are next up for the tag team titles with the Viking Raiders. I haven't really been the biggest fan of this Jey Uso and Gunther storytelling recently, ever since Jey won the Rumble. I mean, it's been basic. It's been a basic story. Jey's doubting himself, this, that, but this turned it up to another level. So first of all, Jimmy Uso, yeah, Big Jim, he went one-on-one with Gunther, and as you would expect, Gunther's gonna take the victory, man. He absolutely decimated Jimmy, had multiple opportunities to pin Jimmy, but didn't choose to. He'd pass him out. Jimmy's passed out, beats him up after the match. Here comes Jey to even up the odds, and Jey started off strong. He got Gunther out of there. He literally got Gunther out of there. Gunther would come back as Jey and Jimmy are walking out, you know, about to probably receive medical attention. Here comes Gunther again, attacks Jey from behind, locks him up, not with handcuffs to the ropes. He used a zip tie, but I don't have like an action figure zip tie. So he locks up Jey with a zip tie on the ropes, and then literally just humiliates and absolutely destroys Jimmy Uso. Literally just decimated Jimmy Uso here, and Jey Uso couldn't do anything about it. Jey Uso just had to watch as his own blood, his own flesh and blood, Jimmy, his twin, gets absolutely decimated. They used blood in this too. Jimmy was bleeding. It was a crimson mask. It was absolutely horrifying. And this turned it up to another level. This really did. I was so invested. My jaw dropped watching this. It was awesome. Yeah, so Penta's gonna team with Braun Breaker. They were teaming great together. It was a tag team match. They fought Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio of the Judgment Day. Once again, great tag match. Just a little miscommunication in the end led to the loss. Braun Breaker would accidentally spear Penta, leading to Finn Balor hitting a coup de grace on Penta. I was like, darn it, bro. But I'm actually really happy about it, bro. Finn Balor no longer pinned Balor. He freaking won a match. I can't believe it. This does not happen. Finn Balor does not win, but he did here. Tag match, felt good. Hopefully Finn gets himself in an IC championship match at WrestleMania. Somehow, maybe a triple threat. Penta, Braun, Finn. I'd be down. That'd be awesome. But yeah, Judgment Day pick up a big victory here. Pretty good. But Finn said, I won the match, Dom. I won the match. Being a little selfish here. Yeah, so I guess Chad Gable is still kind of selling that he is not El Grande Americano. He's still selling this sickness. But Adam Pearce is like, well, how about we have El Grande Americano, you know, fight next week in Minneapolis on Monday Night Raw. And Chad Gable's like, oh, I could be there. I could be there. I could be healed. I could be healed. But Pearce was like, no, I need to follow these medical records from the doctor, because Gable got another note I mean, I feel like El Grande Americano's Chad Gable. He's got me hesitant, though. It could be a random dude, but it's got to be Chad Gable. It's got to be Chad Gable under that mask. AJ Styles calls out Logan Paul. Logan Paul responds, and, they had an exchange of words, but it ultimately led to Logan Paul taking a cheap shot on AJ Styles, low-blowing him with the ropes, and then taking advantage of AJ with the pulverizer, which is a really cool finishing move he used on AJ. Really cool stuff. He did it to Rey Mysterio before. He did it to AJ, which is a bigger guy, so very impressive from Logan Paul. Points at the WrestleMania sign. Yeah, this is definitely going to be happening. AJ Styles, Logan Paul, WrestleMania. This is going to be our high-flying match for Mania, and low-key, I'm excited about it. As long as AJ wins. AJ better win. He better freaking win. In our main event of the show, it was a special guest referee, Bianca Belair, one of the most jacked special guest referees I have ever seen. Dude, Bianca looked amazing. Her abs were popping. She looked huge in that referee gear. Anyways, Bianca's going to officiate Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley rematch for the World Women's Championship. Match was great. Oh my gosh. Dude, the flying headbutt off the top. Io Sky ate that like a boss. It was insane. In the end, Rhea Ripley actually had Io Sky pinned. She hit the riptide, had Io pinned, but Bianca was taken out. Bianca got booted by Rhea, so she wasn't able to count the pin. Bianca got dropkicked by Io, so Bianca's like, screw this. I'm calling for the bell. Double disqualification. Nobody wins. So obviously Io's going to keep the title. Rhea was just pissed off, so she took out everybody. She took out Io. She took out Bianca, and she kept doing it. She did a super riptide off the top rope to Bianca Belair. Rhea picks up the title and says, nah, I'm going to be in that match one way or another. Points at the sign. And yeah, you already know, this has to be a triple threat. Somehow Pierce is going to agree and be like, yeah, okay, Rhea, you're in that match. You're in that match. This was a solid episode of Monday Night Raw for the last show overseas. Oh my gosh, they did a great job. That's why I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10, man. It was right to the point. It was basic amount of stuff, not too much stuff like SmackDown tends to have. Favorite match was Jimmy Uso versus Gunther. And my favorite moment is also coincided with that Jay watching as his brother Jimmy gets beat up. That was my favorite moment of the show. That was my 300th time talking about Monday Night Raw in a WWE action figure setup style. And now let's talk about SmackDown for the 300th time. Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns. SmackDown from Chicago, Illinois. Before anybody asks, no, I was not at this episode of SmackDown, even though I'm from Chicago, but this was still a really solid episode of SmackDown. 3 hours. Let's talk about it. We opened with the hometown boy, CM Punk, coming out to a great ovation in his hometown crowd. CM Punk would get interrupted by Mr. Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman just wants Punk to tell him what the favor is. What do you want, Punk? You helped the Bloodline in War Games. What do you want? Just tell me what it is, because Paul doesn't even know what the favor is, and I didn't know that. I didn't know Paul didn't know. Later in the show, in the main promo of the show, we will see CM Punk again, and he will reveal the favor. What is the favor? Rey Fenix is here in WWE, and oh my god, it is a breath of fresh air seeing this man walk the ropes, walk the tight ropes. Well, first of all, he went one-on-one with Nathan Frazier, one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions, of course, the other half being Axiom, and it's funny, Axiom actually fought Walter on a main card match recently, Gunther, of course, on a main card match recently, which was pretty cool. So it's cool to see Nathan Frazier fight Rey Fenix. Great match, a little stumble from Frazier, and Fenix actually caught him. He went through the ropes, suicide dive, legs got caught on the rope. I was like, oh my god, dude, he caught Frazier's face before he face planted. But in the end, Rey Fenix is gonna win. Really beautiful maneuver for Fenix to pick up the victory. He had him up in like a muscle buster move, and then he like dropped him down. It was a wicked move from Fenix to pick up the victory. He picks up the victory, has a little interview after the match, and it's the Fenix era now, bro. It is the Fenix era, man. He looked great beating Nathan Frazier. LA Knight had a pretty basic match, one-on-one with Tama Tonga of the Bloodline. We did have Solo Sikoa on ringside, so Solo's going to try to become a factor in Tama Tonga winning this match, but it didn't happen. LA Knight's going to pick up the victory, our United States champion, looking good going into WrestleMania. BFT for the victory. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't expecting much from this promo. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte one-on-one in a little face-off, Wade Barrett being the moderator for this promo, and luckily he was there, otherwise I feel like it would have broke down. Bro, I felt real tension between Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton, bro. Tiffany Stratton even mentioning how Charlotte's alone now, of course referencing to the breakup with Andrade, and then Charlotte would come back with, hey, Kaiser's in my DMs. I'm like, oh my god, because Ludwig Kaiser and Tiffany Stratton are together. So like, bro, they were just jabbing and jabbing and jabbing. This promo was great. Oh my goodness, I loved it. It didn't end in a brawl. Tiffany kind of got the last laugh with the you're alone, Charlotte, and just kind of dipped, because Charlotte got actually pretty pissed off about it. It was a #1 contendership match for the WWE Tag Team Champions. Of course, we had the champions on ringside. The Street Profits were there. They were watching like fans in the front row. DIY fought MCMG in tag team action. Pretty basic match. I feel like we've seen this match like 1,000 times here on SmackDown. Master Ciampa is going to ram himself into the exposed turnbuckle in the corner, and obviously this is Bretto, but I don't have MCMG. And then, of course, MCMG is going to take advantage, roll up Ciampa, and win the match and become #1 contenders. Not too bad. Naomi was scheduled to go one-on-one with B-Fab. Oh, doesn't this sound like a great match? Am I right? I'm kidding. As Naomi's entering, she does get attacked by Jade. Jade would eventually get escorted by security. It would lead to a one-on-one between B-Fab and Naomi. They go one-on-one. Naomi's going to pick up the victory with ease. This was light work. B-Fab's kind of trash, no offense. I mean, her teachings from Natalya, nah, they ain't working. After the match, Jade's going to attack Naomi again. It would get broken up by security. Jade kind of took out some security guys. And then Nick Aldis would make a match for WrestleMania. It's going to be Naomi versus Jade at WrestleMania? That's pretty crazy. I feel like that could easily like main event an episode of SmackDown or something. Like, I don't know if that needs to be at a WrestleMania. That sounds pretty crazy. Damian Priest had a little backstage promo, and he basically challenged Drew McIntyre to a match at WrestleMania. He called out all the times that he took advantage of Drew McIntyre's odd obsessions with certain people like CM Punk. And yeah, Priest wants a match at Mania against Drew McIntyre, which would be fire. I'm not falling for this for one frickin' second. Kevin, you ain't tricking me. You ain't tricking me, Kevin. If you're being for real, Kevin, okay, get well soon, obviously. But no, I'm not believing this for 1 second. I absolutely think this is part of the storyline. So Kevin Owens is going to come out. Well, first it was Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis was getting all solemn. I'm like, what is he about to say? And then Kevin Owens comes out, says, I have a severe neck injury. I've had it for like months. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean you've had it for months, bro? You got sent through a ladder neck first by Cody Rhodes through a freaking ladder. You fought Sami Zayn literally to death. Elimination Chamber. Bro, you can't tell me Kevin Owens' neck is busted. You can't. You can't tell me that. Nope. This is definitely part of the story. So Randy Orton's obviously pissed. Randy Orton comes out and doesn't even say a word. Kind of just stares down Kevin. Kevin walks away, and then Randy Orton RKO's Nick Aldis. I'm like, bro, out of nowhere. Obviously, that's Adam Pearce. But he just RKO's Nick Aldis out of nowhere. He heard voices in his head, so he did it. But no, Kevin. Nope. Nope. I don't believe it. If it is true, obviously, get well soon, Kevin. But nope. I don't believe it. Last man standing. This was actually a #1 contender match for LA Knight's United States Championship. It was Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman for the 1,000th time here on SmackDown, but this match was insane, bro. The superplex through 3 tables on the outside of the ring was insane. In the WWE Universe, it was crazy. We finished the match with a Samoan rear end right to the face of Braun Strowman through a table, and Braun Strowman could not get back to his feet before the count of 10. Jacob Fatu beat him to his feet, so Jacob's going to be the #1 contender. It's going to be Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight at WrestleMania. Jacob ought to take the dub. We ought to have a new United States champion at WrestleMania. That ought to be a great match. Roman Reigns. What is the favor, CM Punk? Even Seth Rollins is curious about this. I feel like Seth is kind of the outcast in this rivalry. I feel like the spotlight's more on Punk and Roman, if you know what I mean. Obviously, Roman hates Seth. Seth hates Punk. Seth hates Roman. But like, I feel like Seth's just the outcast here, which I kind of feel for him. But I mean, he's still a big part of it. So, the favor. Punk basically says to Roman Reigns, the favor is, I want Paul Heyman in my corner at WrestleMania. And Roman's like, yeah, Paul Heyman would never say yes to that. Tell him, Paul. Tell him. Be light on him, tell him. Paul started crying and Roman was like, wait, are you serious? It would lead to CM Punk hitting a GTS on Roman Reigns, which I was like, oh my God. But we didn't get an answer. We didn't get an answer from Paul. We don't know if Paul is actually going to be in the corner of CM Punk at WrestleMania, but I feel like it has to happen. That's the favor. He teamed with Roman in War Games. You have to follow through with your deal, and Paul Heyman knows that. So it's going to be Paul with Punk at Mania, nobody in Roman's corner, which is insane. Leading to my prediction, which is obviously going to be Paul turning on Roman. Which that would be crazy. I also found it really intense when Roman Reigns backed Paul Heyman up into the corner. Ooh, Punk kind of saved him there. Oh my goodness, man. WrestleMania is going to be crazy. SmackDown from Chicago, Illinois. My favorite match was Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman. And my favorite moment's probably going to be the CM Punk favor reveal. I enjoyed how they did this. It's just, oh man, it feels like Seth is kind of an outcast here. I mean, yeah, Punk just stared him down. Ranking this show out of 10, I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10. Hope you guys enjoyed episode 300 of the Week in Review setup. Continues. Stay tuned for more episodes every single Saturday morning, and I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Bretto Live is out.